You wake up every single day and make a choice nobody sees.
Not the big, dramatic choice you daydream about, the quiet one.
The one where you either show up for the life you say you want, or you quietly abandon it for one more day. That choice is happening right now. And most people will lose it without even realizing they've lost anything. You know the feeling.
You set the alarm with good intentions. You tell yourself tonight is different, tomorrow is the real start. Then tomorrow arrives, ordinary and unimpressive, and the version of you that made those promises last night is nowhere to be found.
This isn't a willpower problem. It isn't even a laziness problem, no matter what you've been told. It's a misunderstanding about what consistency actually is.
You've been taught to treat it like a mood, something you either feel or don't.
But mood is unreliable.
Mood changes with sleep, with weather, with a bad conversation you had 3 hours ago. If you're waiting to feel ready before you act, you will wait your entire life, because readiness is a feeling, and feelings were never built to carry responsibility. Somewhere along the way, you started confusing motivation with identity. You thought the goal was to feel unstoppable every morning. But the people who actually change their lives rarely feel unstoppable. They feel tired, unsure, sometimes bored out of their minds by their own routine.
What separates them isn't the feeling. It's the decision they keep making anyway.
Picture two people standing at the base of the same mountain. One waits for a clear sky, perfect boots, full energy, and total certainty before taking a single step. The other starts walking in the fog, in worn shoes, uncertain if it's even the right trail.
10 years pass.
The one who waited is still at the base, still checking conditions, still explaining why today wasn't the day. The one who walked is standing somewhere near the summit, not because the climb was easy for them, but because they treated the climb as a decision, not a mood.
This is the part nobody wants to hear. Consistency was never about intensity.
It was never about the version of you that trains for 4 hours after a breakup or writes furiously after a burst of inspiration. Those bursts feel powerful, but they burn out fast, and they leave you further from the goal than a slower, steadier pace would have.
Real consistency looks almost boring from the outside.
It looks like showing up on a random Tuesday when nothing is pushing you and nothing is pulling you.
It looks unremarkable in the moment.
It only becomes remarkable when you look back a year later and realize the person who kept showing up on unremarkable days is now unrecognizable from who they used to be. Here's something that gets buried under all the noise about discipline. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're not just making progress on the task. You're making a deposit into how much you trust your own word. Think about what happens when someone repeatedly breaks promises to you. Eventually, you stop believing what they say, no matter how convincing it sounds in the moment.
Now apply that to yourself.
Every skipped commitment, every "I'll start Monday" that quietly becomes "I'll start next month," teaches your own mind that your word doesn't mean much. And once your mind stops trusting your word, it stops taking your goals seriously at all. That's why some people can announce huge ambitions and nothing changes, while others can whisper a small goal to themselves and follow through with quiet, unshakable certainty.
The difference isn't the size of the goal. It's the track record they've built with themselves.
A young craftsman spends 2 years making unremarkable furniture, nothing that would impress anyone scrolling past it. But every piece he finishes, even the flawed ones, is proof to himself that he finishes what he starts. By the 3rd year, his hands know things his mind never had to think about twice.
That knowledge wasn't downloaded. It was earned one unremarkable day at a time.
You've probably noticed that the moments you feel proudest of yourself are rarely the moments things went smoothly.
They're the moments you did the hard thing while everything in you wanted the easy one. There's a reason for that.
Choosing yourself daily isn't really about the specific task, the workout, the pages written, the early wake-up. It's about proving to yourself, in a small controlled way, that you are not owned by your impulses. Every time you feel the pull toward comfort and choose discomfort instead, you're building a kind of quiet authority over your own mind.
Most people go their entire lives being ruled by whatever they feel in the moment.
They are angry, so they say something they regret. They are tired, so they quit early. They are bored, so they abandon the thing that would have changed everything, right before it started working.
Discipline isn't the absence of those feelings. It's the refusal to let them make your decisions for you.
Imagine a man standing at the edge of a frozen lake, testing the ice with one foot before deciding whether to trust it with his full weight. That hesitation, that testing, is not weakness, it's how trust is built, step by step, with evidence instead of blind hope.
Consistency works the same way. Each day you follow through is another foot of ice tested and proven solid beneath you.
There's a quiet danger in only valuing the days you feel strong. Because if strength is the only thing that counts, then weak days become failures, and failures pile up into a story where you tell yourself you're simply not the kind of person who follows through. But that story is a lie built from selective memory. The truth is, showing up on a weak day is worth more than showing up on a strong one, because a strong day would have happened anyway.
Discipline isn't tested on the days it's easy.
It's tested on the days your body is heavy, your mind is loud, and every reasonable voice in your head is offering you a way out. A woman training for something difficult once said, without realizing how much wisdom was in it, that she didn't trust the days she felt amazing, she trusted the days she felt terrible and still finished the work.
Those are the days that build something permanent.
Not because struggle is noble for its own sake, but because struggle removes every excuse and leaves only the truth of what you actually choose.
Anyone can be consistent when conditions are perfect.
Almost no one can be consistent when conditions are working against them. That gap between almost no one and someone is exactly where the life you want is hiding.
Somewhere in your mind, there's a version of you that already exists. The one who wakes up early without negotiating.
The one who finishes what they start without needing an audience to witness it. You felt that version of yourself in glimpses, a good week, a focused month, a single day where everything clicked and you thought, this is who I actually am underneath it all.
Here's the truth that changes everything. That version isn't waiting somewhere in the future for you to arrive at it.
It's being built or dismantled today, in this exact decision you're facing right now, whether you notice it or not.
You don't become disciplined by having one extraordinary day.
You become disciplined by refusing to let an ordinary day go to waste.
Think of it like water carving stone. No single drop does anything visible.
You could watch for a year and see no change at all.
But given enough time, that same soft, unremarkable water reshapes solid rock into something unrecognizable. Your daily choice, the workout, the page, the early alarm, the hard conversation you keep avoiding, is a single drop. Meaningless alone. Undeniable in accumulation. The stone doesn't ask the water to be dramatic. It only asks it to keep showing up. This is the part you need to sit with.
Every day you choose the version of yourself that follows through, you are not just completing a task, you are casting a vote for who you intend to become. And every day you skip it, tell yourself it doesn't count this once, you are casting a vote for the opposite.
There is no neutral ground here. There is no pause button on becoming someone.
You are either building or eroding, every single day, whether you're paying attention or not.
The people you admire for their discipline are not made of different material than you.
They simply stopped waiting to feel ready and started voting with their actions instead of their moods. They understood something most people never accept, that motivation was never going to show up reliably, and building a life around waiting for it was building a life on sand.
So they chose differently. Not once. Not in a single burst of inspiration that faded by the weekend. Daily. Quietly. Without applause.
That is the whole secret, and it was never actually hidden, it was simply too unglamorous for most people to accept.
Choosing yourself isn't a grand gesture.
It's a small, repeated, almost invisible act of refusing to abandon the person you're trying to become, especially on the days when abandoning them would be so much easier.
Consistency was never about being extraordinary every day. It was always about refusing to disappear on the ordinary ones.
Every version of you that you've ever admired in someone else was built exactly the way you're capable of building it, one unremarkable, unglamorous, unwitnessed decision at a time.
You don't need a better mood to start. You don't need permission, and you don't need certainty.
You need to choose yourself today, and then again tomorrow, and let that decision stack quietly until it becomes undeniable. If this gave you something to sit with, let it settle before you scroll past it. And if you want more of this kind of thinking, staying here for what comes next might be the smallest good decision you make today.